Done too. I forgot.
Yeah. That's all right. Okay.
So don't start talking. You just like I'm gonna play this and then I'll stop it and then you talk.
It's the Big Ten on CBS. I know. Boy, that gets me in the mood for football, though. That is, of course, the CBS Sports College Football, the SEC on CBS, really, for many years. But
Well, it's actually been around since
the 80s, really.
since the 80s.
Yeah.
I remember before the SEC,
Yeah.
they would show Big Ten games, Pac-12 games.
Right.
It was been the theme for 50 years.
Yeah, since like the mid-late 80s, I think. But anyway, welcome to the North Florida College Football Gridiron Report. This is week 2 of this show as well. We'll go till 10 o'clock tonight, and we will take a look back at week 0 of college football, and then take a look to what is going to be a fantastic weekend of games starting tomorrow night, going through Monday, really. This is like the time of year when you get games for 5 straight days, including Labor Day and Sunday night. But I'm Marty Pallman. He's Corey Davis here on North Florida Sports Talk, live from Beefo Brady's here in Stark, located right on 301 in the middle of Stark, across from Bradford High School. We just had the high school football gridiron report last hour, and now we get to have some fun and talk college football. And Corey, first of all, we talked last week that week 0 it's like appetizers. You got your chips maybe and some of your jalapeno poppers and some wings, and then wings is going to be the main course. But this week we're going to have pizza, wings. It's the main course.
Adult beverages, you name it,
right.
we got it.
That's right. But we will take a look back at last week. And the one game we mentioned, the only game that was between ranked teams and actually involved a ranked team, was the game in Dublin. Iowa State, and it was kind of ugly, but they were able to hold off Kansas State 24-21. So the Cyclones win their Big 12 opener there, and Kansas State falls to 0-1, Iowa State 1-0. There was some strange things about this. First of all, apparently they can't put lines on the field that won't dissolve when there's rains, because the lines were gone off the field. But the other thing we were talking about was, why not play that game in a dome somewhere? But they played it in Dublin, and Iowa State got just enough to win that game.
Yeah, the weather was horrendous. Neither team could really hold on to the ball, but Iowa State was able to hold on in the end. I remember Iowa State was up like 10 points in the fourth quarter, and Kansas State fired right back and scored and made it a 3-point game, and Iowa State was able to hold them off. But what a great opening game for college football. Yeah,
really, it was. It was a good one to start, and it was the very first game on Saturday at noon, and as you said, Iowa State got the win. I actually listened to that game more than anything, but as the day went on, we saw UNLV Idaho State. That game turned out to be a barn burner. They have some issues defensively for Dan Mullen, but their offense looked good, and they just held off Idaho State 38-31 in that opener.
Yeah, I watched all 9 games. I watched 2 of them on my laptop, and one of them was the UNLV game. The other game being the Kansas-Fresno State game.
I was on Fox.
You know why I couldn't watch that game, Marty?
No, it was on
Fox. Because of your Jaguars.
Oh, yeah, the Jaguars preseason game, right. Yeah, I was watching that. It was boring.
That game was on Fox instead of Kansas-Fresno State, which was supposed to be on there.
Sorry, you live in Jacksonville, but yeah. No, I watched that Jags-Dolphins game for a while. It was pretty boring. There were no starters playing that game, but yeah, there was an NFL preseason going on, but as well, but the UNLV game was on like the Mountain West Network too, so I don't know if anybody got that. You saw Tarleton State and Portland State?
Yeah, that was on ESPN or ESPN2.
Oh wow! 42-0 Tarleton State, and then
Tarleton. Yeah, they're ranked there. They're like ranked 4th or 5th in the country. That game was never in doubt.
Nichols and Incarnate Word, 20-6. Nichols pulls away to win that game. This was a game I was watching this game Saturday night for a while, and then all of a sudden it got delayed and it got canceled. UC Davis and Mercer were playing a really good game. Then about halfway through the fourth quarter, the Lightning came. It was in Montgomery, Alabama, at the Crampton Bowl. The Lightning came, and they never resumed. It was a long delay, and they just called it off. So no result there for that game.
It was like 23-17, 24-17, with like 5 minutes left in the game, and they couldn't finish the game.
Yeah, some bad storms came through. I mean, Saturday, I was in Jacksonville Saturday. It was terrible. The weather was awful on Saturday. So I can see it was probably that way other places. But so UC Davis, Mercer, no game. You mentioned Kansas, Fresno State. We talked last week that Fresno State might give them a game. That didn't happen. Kansas won that game pretty easily, 31-7. So the Jayhawks win in their opener. Western Kentucky, Sam Houston. I was a little surprised at this. It was close for a while. Western Kentucky, they pulled away to win 41-24 in that game.
Yeah, I watched that one too. I watched little snippets of every game.
Yeah.
Just enough to see a couple scoring drives, whatever. Going back to the Kansas game, I was surprised to learn that the quarterback seems like he's been there 7 years.
For Kansas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's back again to lead the Jayhawks. But, you know, they're a scoring machine, and they beat a pretty decent Fresno State game. And then, as you said, that Western Kentucky Sam Houston game was back and forth, shootout. And then second half, Western Kentucky kind of separated themselves.
Yeah, they did. They ended up pulling away to win that game, 41-24. NC Central and Southern, they played in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
The Cricket MEAC SWAC Kickoff Classic.
It's like the Celebration Bowl at the end of the year, the MEAC and SWAC champs play. But NC Central beating Southern 31-14 that game. And I watched most of this game on Saturday night. Hawaii, who, by the way, and again, you know, you remember growing up watching the Aloha Bowl at Aloha Stadium. Aloha Stadium has been condemned. They're building a new Aloha Stadium. Hawaii looks like they're playing in a high school stadium right now.
Well, I think they took over a soccer stadium.
I think that's right.
And,
Honolulu.
they temporarily moved all their home games to the soccer stadium. Just to go back a little bit about that North Carolina Central Southern game. That game was close, and the North Carolina Central pulled away. But let me tell you, Marty, the most important winner of that game Saturday was the Southern Band.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, they're impressive. That's why when Southern and Grambling play that game in the Superdome in New Orleans, it's always impressive to watch the bands.
You listen to me, okay?
Listen here. I'm gonna lecture you about this. Here's my pointing my finger at you. But so NC Central gets the win. Hawaii on the last play of the game gets a walk-off 38-yard field goal by, as you wrote here, Japanese kicker wins it for Hawaii. 23-20 over Stanford.
The young man had never kicked before in Japan. He watched YouTube videos.
Yeah. He
walked on to a junior college in the States and then ended up walking on to Hawaii and then gets the walk-off kick. And you got to mention the redshirt freshman quarterback. Guy's 18 or 19 years old. Michael Alito. Leftwich used to play for the Jaguars in Marshall with a bum ankle and
right.
He led them on a bum ankle down the winning drive to set up the field goal.
Were they carrying him like they did? Remember they carried Byron Leftwich?
He limped. He kind of limped.
Yeah,
the whole way down.
They carried Byron Leftwich for a little bit there. Yeah, that was a pretty good game though. I was of course. Also, the funny thing about that was so used to watching Hawaii games through the year, starting at like 12:30, 1 a.m. Eastern. It's like nighttime there. It was middle of the afternoon. The
daylight. Yeah, that was
1:30 kick in Honolulu. 1:30.
That was the biggest thing about watching that game. Was like, it's 9:00 at night. It is dark over here in Florida, but it's broad daylight in Hawaii.
Yeah, it was. But Hawaii wins that opener. Stanford led most of the game, but Hawaii came back to tie late, and as you said, get the walk-off field goal to win. So that's a look at week 0. That probably was the best game of the week. Oh, Iowa State, Kansas State was close. That may have been the best game of Stanford, Hawaii that we saw. So that's a look at week 0. So now the appetizers, we've taken care of those. Now it's time for the main course. It is this week, week 1 of college football. And again, what a week we have. We got all kinds of games to talk about. We're going to have picks coming up a little bit later on in this second edition of the college football report. Again, this is North Florida Sports Talk. We're live from Beaver Brady's in Stark. Marty Pallman and Corey Davis with you tonight. They're on YouTube So it starts tomorrow at 5:30, and in fact, not far from here, Raymond James Stadium. Boise State ranked 25th, and USF on ESPN tomorrow night. Tomorrow evening, I guess you could say.
Yeah, South Florida's in the middle of trying to build a stadium. They're not quite done yet. So this game will be played at Raymond James. But within the next year or two, they're going to have an on-campus stadium. I got to see part of it when I was there back in February, when I was on campus. And
yeah, they're building that now. That's right. Yeah, and it's funny because for years and years they've talked about that at USF, but they're finally doing it. USF will be in Gainesville next week to play Florida, but again they'll open with Boise State. So that'd be a pretty good challenge to start the season. Boise State having to come way east here to play USF.
Traditionally, you open up with a cupcake, unless you're like an LSU, Clemson, or Texas, Ohio State kind of team. So for South Florida to open up a Boise State, that's some big balls right there. Boise State obviously been in. I'm not going to call them they've been on the radar for a long time.
Right. Yeah, I agree. That's gonna be a good ball game. I think tomorrow at 5:30. ACC Network tomorrow night. These are two rivals too. We're talking about NC State will host East Carolina. These two have a rivalry, and that'll be the ACC Network game tomorrow night. And then ESPN tomorrow night. This game will actually be at Arrowhead Stadium, or now they call it Geha Stadium in Kansas City, the cheap stadium. Nebraska and Cincinnati. That'll be a 9:00 start on ESPN.
Very intriguing matchup because I've been hearing from a lot of people. I listen to Sirius Radio all the time, and this is the year for Nebraska. It's like, this is the year for the Hurricanes. Well, the Hurricanes actually did something last year. It's time for Nebraska to put up or shut up.
Yeah, third year for Matt Rule. I agree. Last year they go to a bowl game finally, and they lost that bowl game to Boston College. But don't know how good Cincinnati is. They've been up and down, had some really good years and some down years. But that'll be a good start for Nebraska, like you said. Again, that game will be in Kansas City. And as you said, NC State, East Carolina, good start for the Wolfpack. East Carolina, usually a pretty solid team as well.
I remember just a couple years ago, heck, it might have even been last year, East Carolina knocked off NC State.
Yeah, I think that was in the bowl game they played, wasn't it? Didn't they play in a bowl game last year?
I was thinking regular season game in East Carolina.
That makes sense, yeah.
What about Friday?
Right, I remember that, but yeah, well, there's only really two big games Friday, but they're two big games. I mean, you've got two games at 8:00. How about the SEC Big 12 matchup? Auburn goes to Baylor, so they'll officially be the first SEC team to kick off Friday night. That'll be a Fox.
Actually, technically that's wrong. Missouri plays tomorrow.
Missouri's playing tomorrow. That's right.
Well, against one of the directional schools.
Yeah, that's right. That game they're going to win, but
Central Missouri, Western Missouri, Eastern Missouri, one of those kind of.
Auburn will get a little more of a challenge heading to Baylor.
And I really want to believe Auburn. I told you last week. They're one of the dark horses I've been hearing about. But
that's what everybody says.
To go to Baylor, that's a tough first game.
It is. And Baylor, last year they struggled a little bit, but they've been good as long as I can remember. Dave Aranda, the coach there, and Hugh Freeze needs to start winning. I mean, he can't have another 5-7 season, or he's gone from Auburn. So this will be a big opener for the Tigers before they head into SEC play. And then I think this is gonna be a really good game. 8:00 ESPN Friday night. Here's my question: can Colorado rebound from losing Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and these guys to the NFL? They'll find out because they got a pretty good Georgia Tech team. Haynes King coming in the first game. I
think we're going to find out how good of a coach Coach Sanders is.
I agree.
When you lose to those two studs, what does Colorado have left?
There was a lot of talk that Deion might not come back. And the funny thing is, too, if you remember a couple years ago when he was coaching Jackson State, before he took the Colorado job, he was being mentioned to go to Georgia Tech before they ended up going with Brent Key there as the permanent coach. But Brent Key's done a nice job at Georgia Tech, too. And that's a team that's expected to be in the top 4 or 5 of the ACC. Pretty talented offensive team coming back for them.
That's definitely a game that has both of our attention as Georgia Tech fans. You want to see the Yellow Jackets get off to a good start, and your dad played for Georgia Tech too.
And much like the Georgia game last year on a Friday night, I won't be able to see a lot of this because I'll have my own high school game, but try to check it out hopefully the second half or so. But yeah, you're right. I do have an interest in Georgia Tech. So do you. And
I'm going to need you to text me throughout the game Friday night and tell me how this game's going on, okay?
Well, you're going to be at a game too. I mean,
I know.
Actually, I actually meant to ask you to the high school show where you would be Friday for a game.
Crescent City and PK Young.
That's at Crescent?
At Crescent City.
Okay. So I thought you were coming to Gainesville for a minute. PK Young. All right, so we got through Thursday and Friday. Now Saturday, things get a little crazy.
Welcome to the main event.
Do we want to start with this game or come back to it? I guess it's the first game of the day, so why not? Well, Texas, Ohio State, noon on Fox, number 1 against number 3. Arch Manning going into Columbus, Ohio State, new quarterback as well. These two teams played last year in the semifinal. Ohio State won on their way to the national title. Texas will want revenge. So
Ohio State's breaking in a new quarterback.
I didn't realize this too. Apparently, both the Fox Big Noon and the ESPN Game Day are in Ohio State. I didn't know they could do that because this is Lee Corso's last game day. But also Fox, obviously the Fox Big Noon pregame is there.
Right.
So I didn't know they both could go to the same place, but they are because that game's that big.
Well, it's no different than going to the CBS game. You know, back in the day, they'd always go to CBS games too.
Yeah, but CBS didn't have like a show like that. It went on location. Sure. But yeah, you're right. That is kind of like that. But yeah, I mean, this game pretty much we've hyped it up, and then it's time for it to happen finally. The good news is, in the past, if you lose this game, you don't have a lot of room for error to play for national title. Now with the playoff, the loser of this game is going to be in pretty good shape.
Oh yeah, as long as they run the table, they're going to be really great.
Well, no, I think these teams can lose 2-3 games now. I mean, that's the thing. Especially Texas in the SEC, they can lose a couple games probably, as we saw last year. They lost twice to Georgia and then made the playoff. But yeah, I don't know. What do you? We'll talk about. We're going to pick games, I know, right?
Oh yeah, and that definitely one of our picks games.
This means I'll have to be up early Saturday for that because I got to earlier than normal.
You got a red-eye flight that morning.
Yeah, that's right. Texas, Ohio State. So that is Saturday noon.
Marty means you have to get up before noon for one.
I know. 11:45. I'll be up. Actually, I do want to check. I think I want to check College Game Day this week because that is Lee Corso's last show on that. So he'll be making his last headgear pick there right before noon in Columbus as well. Syracuse, Tennessee. This game will be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. We'll talk about – is this on our picks too? Let me look at this a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah, it is. I think this is going to be interesting because I think Syracuse can win this game. No doubt. Tennessee's got a lot of questions. I mean, new quarterback. Syracuse is coming off a huge year for them last year.
By the way, this is where SEC Nation will be Saturday in Atlanta for this game. I've been hearing a lot about Syracuse lately with the Sirius Radio. You know, this could be an upset pick because Tennessee's got a brand new quarterback. Yeah, he played at UCLA, but Syracuse was pretty good last year too.
Agreed. I mean, they beat Miami last year. They won 10 games. So yeah, they had a really good year for Fran Brown. I think it's gonna be a fun game to watch. We got Northwestern Tulane. That's going to be another noon game on ESPNU. How about this battle? This game isn't played very often. Mississippi State goes to Southern Miss at noon on ESPN.
Well, it's a great baseball rivalry. Right. They play each other in baseball every year.
Super regional, yeah. Super regional, but this game will be in Hattiesburg. So Southern Miss, that place is going to be crazy with Mississippi State coming in. And they're talking about this too. I heard Shane Matthews mention this on one of the local shows, and he's a guy from Mississippi. He grew up in Mississippi. He's like, this is one of those games where Mississippi State, if you win, you're expected to win. If you lose, what the heck are you doing losing to Southern Miss? I mean, there's a no-win scenario for Mississippi State here.
Anytime Mississippi State or Ole Miss go to Southern Miss or have them at home, you dare not lose to Southern Miss because you will never hear the end of it.
Yeah, that's true. And it's already like you already have Ole Miss in the state that you have to deal with like that if you're Mississippi State. So you don't really want to have that happen with Southern Miss as well. So that's a noon ESPN kickoff. Kentucky, they'll start their season. This is an SEC network game, 12:45 against the Toledo Rockets. Kentucky will open at home. And
good old MAC action.
MAC action against the SEC. And not a lot expected from Kentucky really coming into this season. They struggled last year. Speaking of MAC action in SEC, Marshall goes to Georgia. That's the 3:30 game on ESPN. as the Bulldogs will open their season in Athens against the Thundering Herd.
I can't really knock them because at least they're playing somebody you've heard of, unlike Florida, who's playing Long Island.
Yeah.
But
that game's so bad we don't have it listed here. So,
Georgia's got a lot of question marks going into this year. They didn't traditionally, like they have a great season last year. I mean, yes, they beat Texas twice, but they didn't make it to the semifinals. They didn't make the national championship. How good is this Georgia team? I mean, heck, Florida even almost beat them.
Yeah, that's right. So Georgia will open. That game is in Athens. That's an ESPN game against Marshall. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Florida, but we really don't have to spend a lot of time other than maybe a couple of questions that were answered about DJ Lagway's health. But I am intrigued by this game, although I don't expect this to be close, honestly. But Alabama will, I think, for the first time ever, they'll play Florida State in Tallahassee. I think I've ever been there before. 3:30 kickoff on ABC.
All I got to say is roll Tide.
This is one of those weeks where it'd be okay to root for Alabama. I agree. But Mike Norvell, though, story in the pot. Gotta love it. He said a couple weeks ago or a week or so ago, yeah, there's a reason he was up for that Alabama job, I guess, when they hired the current coach, whose name escapes me right now. The guy who came from Washington.
DeBoer, yeah. Coach DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer. Mike Norvell said, there's a reason I didn't take that job. Excuse me? That makes me laugh.
Well, it's kind of like the knucklehead quarterback, the transfer from Boston College who came from Ware County, Thomas Castellanos or something.
FSU now.
Right? He made a mark over the summer about we don't see Alabama as a threat.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh!
I mean, shut your mouth and play the game first.
It's like they're going to walk into a literal like a firing squad almost. They're going to. I mean, I just see Florida State thinking they're going to go in there. They're going to get. Alabama's got a lot to prove there after last year. Agreed, but I don't see Florida State. How much better are they going to be than last year? I mean, there's not a whole lot different there. Again, you said Thomas Castellanos. They're starting with another transfer. Last year was DJ Ukulele, who was terrible. And, I don't know. I think Florida State's going to be a mess again, but we'll see. It's a good way to open, though, against the Crimson Tide. By the way, you're watching the North Florida College Football Gridiron Report here on North Florida Sports Talk. Marty Pallman and Corey Davis joining you here tonight for EFO Brady's episode number 2. We are here 9 to 10 every Wednesday night to talk college football. You can also check out our high school Gridiron Report, 8 to 9. We had that a little bit earlier, and you can find that every week here on YouTube and North Florida Sports Talk. So, Bama, Florida State, and now we go to what I think is going to be the best game of it. Well, Texas, Ohio State.
It's definitely one of the most intriguing games of the day.
I mean, you just don't see this game very often.
The Battle of Death Valley.
Yeah, where Clemson gets – I mean, other than Georgia, I can't think of a really good SEC team that's gone into Clemson and played them. But you're right. Who's Death Valley is better, LSU or Clemson? Number 9, LSU. Number 4, Clemson. The only thing that bothers me about this game is that Brian Kelly has not been good in these opening games. I think LSU's lost. They lost twice to FSU in the opener. Last year they lost to USC. And this is actually on the road. This isn't a neutral site. So this is going to be at Clemson. Plus, Clemson fans are waiting. I mean, they're waiting for this game. And you got 2 quarterbacks who maybe Heisman contenders.
Well, I picked LSU to play in the national championship.
Yeah.
I think I picked him to lose to Penn State, and I picked him to beat Texas in the conference championship game. So I'm high on LSU. If they win this game, watch out for the Tigers.
I agree. If they win this game, yeah, you're right. Although, of course, they still have to get through the SEC gauntlet. But, right, I think that would be a big win for them as well. You mentioned Penn State. They're ranked number 2 coming in. They actually will open with Nevada at home. That game is later, like 3:30, I think, Saturday. That is actually the CBS game, I believe. Big Ten. Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
It is. That's right. Because ABC's got Alabama, FSU, and Georgia, Marshall, ESPN. So that's Penn State's opener. And then on Saturday night, Michigan, opens. That's the NBC Big Ten game against New Mexico. So that's their opener as well.
And what I like about the end of Saturday night
You got
Old school Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah, lots and a game on TNT. Look at that.
That's gonna be weird.
Yeah, California, Oregon State. So you got two former Pac-12 teams, though. One in the ACC, and I don't know where Oregon State is now. That's 10:30 on ESPN.
Well, technically, they're still part of the Pac-12.
Yeah, because there's going to be a Pac-12 that's coming back, but this is an old Pac-12 rivalry, Cal and Oregon State. So that's 10:30. Hawaii, after their win over Stanford, gets to come into the mainland and then travel to Arizona to play the Wildcats. That's 10:30 on TNT. That's the TNT game, which I was like, why is TNT getting college football? And then 11 o'clock on Fox. This is going to be interesting. This is a big, well, now
former Pac-12 game too.
Pac-12. Utah's in the. Are they in the
Big 12?
Big 12. UCLA's in the Big 10. That's right.
Right.
So,
it's hard to remember that because it's all changed.
It's right there everywhere, but UCLA being in the Big 10 just never will really register with me. That's 11 o'clock game on Fox, and then you have Washington and Colorado State. This is on Big 10 Network. Again, confusing. Washington's in the Big 10. It's 11 o'clock game, late game on Saturday night. 2 11 o'clock games. By the way, I don't know if you heard about this, but there's a dispute going on between YouTube TV and Fox. And right now, as of this afternoon, Fox was supposedly going to be off of YouTube TV, which means if they don't resolve this by Saturday, you're not going to see Texas, Ohio State, which is, just crazy. You got the number 1 and number 3 teams playing over the season. So.
As what's the Georgia former announcer that was there a long time?
Larry Munson.
Larry Munson. As he said when Georgia upset Florida that one year. Do you know the property that's going to get damaged if there's no Texas Ohio State game on TV?
I love that call. I just threw my chair. He said, I broke my chair. Now he's talking about the Gator Bowl. This stadium now they got to renovate this place. The walls just came tumbling down, and all the people at St. Simon's, and I can't believe I'm actually reciting.
Jekyll Island and
because Florida. This is one of the more painful Florida losses ever. It was the run play, but yeah, all these people in St. Simon's and Jekyll Island, all those dog fans in the condos. There'll be some property destroyed tonight. Anyway, love that call. But that's the only good thing that ever really came out of Georgia to me is Larry Munson. so Saturday, that's it for Saturday. Sunday, 2 more big games. One of them in the afternoon. This is again at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. Virginia Tech and 13th ranked South Carolina. The Beamer Bowl. Shane Beamer, South Carolina, and Frank Beamer, his dad, many years the coach of Virginia Tech. That'll be 3 o'clock on ESPN. And then, of course, that night, ABC will have the primetime game. Maybe this might be the second or third best game of the weekend. Notre Dame heads to South Florida. They'll play Miami, 7:30 on ABC.
Great game. Definitely get you ready for Monday between Catholics versus convicts, part 3 or 4.
That's true. I haven't even thought about that. That they don't play much anymore. So
that's one of my favorite 30-on-30s. I've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah. And I just remember when they made the T-shirts. It was pretty funny, but that was quite a time in college football too. But so will Miami be able to have the success with Carson Beck that they did with Cam Ward? I mean, he's now with the Titans. He was number 1 pick in the draft. Notre Dame, will they follow up their national runner-up finish last year? Ranked 6th, Miami's 10th. So we'll find out early on how good these teams are as Notre Dame goes on the road. And then, as you said, Monday night, we have, the Belichick Bowl. It's his first game. North Carolina Tar Heels. It's going to be weird seeing him coaching in college, no less than North Carolina. But they open with TCU, and then that'll be nationally televised by ESPN at 8 o'clock on Monday night.
What a great way to end the week.
Yeah, it really is. I'm looking forward to seeing how Bill Belichick does at North Carolina. How long will he be the coach there? I think is another question.
Well, as long as she allows him to be. Because his girlfriend runs everything except for what happens at North Carolina.
Yeah, right. I think I'd heard that before. So, then again, when you're 70 22 or whatever, your girlfriend's 26, 27. I get it. I fully understand. But that's why I'm with you. I think he's going to be a short-termer there. And the other thing is, I understand that his father, or part of his son, is an assistant. So he may just let him take over in a couple of years. And when he took him from the Patriots. So that'll be on Monday night, TCU in North Carolina. Again, on 8 o'clock on ESPN. Well, we've looked at all our games, really, that we're going to talk about. I guess. Well, no, actually, we'll spend a few minutes talking about Florida.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah, and I know we didn't mention it in our games, but there's a reason. Because they're playing Long Island University, of Long Island, who is honestly, I didn't know had a football team. I knew them in basketball, but
well, interesting background with that. It was actually two schools that combined, and they took Long Island name and then took the mascot of the other school. So that's why they're the Long Island Sharks. Because of two colleges that combine.
Okay. I actually didn't know they were the Sharks, but I remember the Long Island University in basketball making the tournament a few times. But yeah, I guess the only question for Florida was the health of DJ Lagway. Billy Napier answered that on Monday in the press conference. He's ready to go. Now, the other question is how much does he play in this game? And I think you want to see all three Florida quarterbacks play. I mean, maybe give them a half to get ready, maybe a quarter and a half. But you really should be able to name the score here, and then you get to see who's the backup. Because actually, Napier said he doesn't know really. It's between Bailey and Jamel Jones, Harrison Bailey. Really, he doesn't have a clear-cut leader there yet. So they'll probably play it out on the field.
Well, that's a game that there better be close to a running clock. If this
they
game
don't have a running clock in college.
Well, I know they don't have one in college, but my point is this should be a 35-42 nothing type of game.
Right. I agree. Well, even
like you said, you want to see all three quarterbacks playing this game, and you want to rest DJ and let the backups get in there and get some playing time and potentially score as they should in this type of game. Really, the only question mark I have for the whole entire year is can DJ stay healthy?
I think that's the question everybody's been asking about the Gators. I think everything relies on that. If he can stay healthy, there aren't. I mean, the options behind him. Bailey came from Louisville. He did play a lot there. Played the bowl game. Then they got a freshman behind him as well. Yeah, your options aren't best. And then you have Aiden Warner back there as well, who played against Texas last year. But yeah, you're right. DJ's got to stay upright and healthy, and if that's the case, he's good enough that this team can win some games. But so they open with LIU. Next week, USF will be in Gainesville, and then the schedule will pick up back-to-back road games at LSU and at Miami in September. So we're going to know by the end of September where this team is pretty much at this point.
We shall see. Not every team gets to open up with a cupcake. Some teams actually have to play a real game this week.
Yeah.
Or last week.
Florida is not normally one of those teams, unless last year they opened with Miami. But this year they moved Miami back to the fourth game. So that'll be Saturday night in the Swamp, 7:30. It'll be on ESPN Plus, SEC Plus. So it's online. You have to watch that game. So just keep that in mind. You're not going to find it on TV anywhere. But you can watch it on your computer or through other ways, YouTube TV, whatever you got, on Saturday night.
I will vaguely be paying attention to that game.
Yeah, because LSU Clemson's on. Yeah, I know, you're right. And that's the reason why I thought about going to this game, because it's a night game, but the more I looked at the schedule, I was like, I don't know, so many games on. I'll just watch those. But the Gators will get a win in this opener, and then they'll probably get a win next week as well. So we don't really have to spend a lot of time on Florida this week and their opener. To me, it's kind of funny because I feel like the fans are hopeful, but they're also kind of used to it. They're kind of like, well, what could go wrong here with this season? Not this week. But it also, I don't think there's a lot of fans who are really eagerly awaiting this game because of who they're playing.
Well, I take full responsibility for the DJ injury. I was at the Florida-Georgia game that day, and I was in the midst of a bunch of Georgia fans next to me. My stepdad took me to the game, and he's a Georgia fan. And I was just like talking to the people, and I was we don't have a backup. We don't have a third guy. God forbid he gets hurt. And bam, he gets hurt. And then we're forced to play. Then we're forced to play a walk-on. The kid that was from Yale or Dartmouth. Yeah. I mean, if he didn't get hurt,
Dartmouth,
Florida beats Georgia, and obviously Florida rebounded and had a great season, went to a bowl. But who knows if he didn't get injured, what kind of season they really could have had?
Yeah, and then they put Aiden Warner in against Texas. They're just like, we're not going to win this game. So, it's got
was that like 42-0 or something like that?
At halftime, I believe.
Yeah.
It ended up like 56-17. But yeah, it was never a game. Florida basically they threw in the towel on that one. They're like, we're not going to beat Texas on the road. We'll just play this guy. And then Lagway came back for LSU and they won out from there. But yeah, that you never know. That's why I think they've got a chance. And of course, this is well down the line. This game's being played like November 1st, but I think they got a chance to beat Georgia. Florida does this year, especially if, again, Lagway can stay healthy. But that's a long way down the road before we get to that game. So, well, again, you were watching the North Florida College Football Gridiron Show on North Florida Sports Talk. Marty Pallman, Corey Davis with you from Beef O'Brady's in Stark. 9 to 10 each Wednesday, we'll talk college football here on YouTube. North Florida Sports Talk. 8 to 9 is the high school football gridiron show. You can check that out as well. These are also archived, so you can see those shows archived as well. So now, as we get closer to 10 o'clock, it's time to do the pick'ems. This is the fun part. We got a lot of games this week. So
I actually picked
a lot of really
12, I think. I think I picked 12 games this week for us to pick, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's a
And I
good
think
idea.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, 12.
And they start with the Thursday games. We start with.
Well, before we get to that, let's see where we stand. Last week,
my results.
week 0, you went 3-2, lost Kansas
I
State,
picked Kansas State.
and Sam Houston.
I picked Hawaii. Yeah.
I went 5-0.
I don't know.
I didn't lose any games. I picked Iowa State, and I also picked Western Kentucky to win that game. So that was
you took Hawaii? Okay.
yeah.
For some reason I thought
We both took Hawaii.
Or rather, did we pick Kansas?
We picked both at Kansas. We both picked UNLV.
Yeah.
So the difference was the Kansas State Iowa State game
Of course.
and the Sam Houston Western Kentucky game.
I was kind of thinking Iowa State more thought about probably win that game somehow, but yeah.
Which is funny because we do pick them in our paper,
yeah.
and I won. I went 5-1 in the picks because we do high school and college.
Yeah.
And the one game I lost,
Kansas State.
I picked Kansas State.
You went against yourself.
I really thought I picked Iowa State in that game.
You went against yourself there. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good start. We got a lot of games, though. A lot of time to catch up there. But 5-0. Nice start. Good start there last week. All right. We're going to start tomorrow night in Tampa, Boise State and USF.
I don't think there was any question in this game.
Really?
Boise State is going to go into Tampa and just smack them around.
Well, I think USF's kind of in the middle of a rebuild. The only thing that bothers me about Boise State is anytime you come to the East Coast, who knows? But yeah,
but Boise probably got in today though.
Well, they did, yeah, because they play tomorrow. That's right, but
especially a 5:30 game.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, they got it today. I agree, but still, Boise. Yeah, I think Boise will win that game. They're ranked 25th. They're a team who was just in the playoff last year, right? They lost to Penn State. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, in the first round, or second round.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll take Boise State as well.
All right.
Nebraska, Cincinnati. Again, this game is in Kansas City. I remember I want to check out this game because I want to hear Kyle Crooks do his first Nebraska football game. The voice of the Huskers now, former Florida announcer. But this game, again, his first game will be at Arrowhead Stadium. Or I guess they call it now Geha Field, GEHA Field or whatever. And this is going to be a Nebraska home game, though, really, in Kansas City. They're going to have a lot of fans there. And I just think Nebraska, we stay with their back. They're not ranked preseason, but Matt Rule seems to have them going in the right direction. I'll take the Huskers to win that game.
Well, like I said, I've been hearing a lot about Nebraska as a potential team to look out for. I'm going with the Huskers in this game also.
I'm sorry, I took that one first.
I'm sorry, I took that one first. We can go. I can go first or you. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. However you want to do.
Well, we both picked Nebraska.
Yeah.
Right. Next up
is North Carolina battle. East Carolina and NC State, and it's tough to know where these teams are because they haven't played yet, and it's very early in the season, obviously. The game is in Raleigh, I believe. I'll take the Wolfpack. I'm going at home.
Not so fast, my friend.
Pirates.
I'm going with the Pirates. They won this game, I believe, last year. They won over NC State recently. I just feel like they got the momentum and the mojo going, and I feel like East Carolina is going to. I don't want to call it an upset, but they're going to. I think they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to look this up real quick. Yes, East Carolina. I thought so. They beat NC State in the Military Bowl last December 28th, 26-21. It was close. I think there was I don't know if they got into a fight or something going on in that game, but that is pretty good rivalry. So you're going to take the Pirates?
I'll take the Wolfpack.
The Wolfpack.
Our first difference so far.
Our
first difference so far.
Yeah.
Next up, we have. Friday night. Auburn.
That's Thursday games and
Baylor.
Friday night. Auburn at Baylor. Go ahead. Let you go first here.
You know, I'm on the Auburn train. I've been hearing a lot of good things about them, but to go to Baylor supposed to be pretty good. They're one of the favorites to win the Big 12. I got to go with Baylor.
Yeah, I don't trust Auburn.
Yeah, I don't trust Auburn yet.
Again,
5-7 last year. Again, everyone's talking about how they and Oklahoma are going to be better this year. They better be again because Hugh Freeze won't be around. But I think it's tough to go to Waco and first game of the season as well. So I'm going to go with Baylor to win that game at home against Auburn. All right, here we go. Georgia Tech at Colorado. This game will actually be in Boulder at Colorado. And again, this is an 8 o'clock kickoff Friday night. And go ahead.
Well, we talked about it earlier. I mean, there's so many question marks with Colorado. What is Coach Sanders going to do? Yeah. What does he have left? I'm going with the Bumblebees.
Not so fast, my friend. I agree.
Wow, I was about to say.
I know. I'm going to, I'm going to be a homer here, I guess, but whatever. I actually think Georgia Tech's better. And I know the game's on the road, but I have a lot of questions about Colorado, how they're going to respond to this. So I think Georgia Tech, more experienced, has a little more talent. So I'll take the Yellow Jackets to win that as well on the road. The Bumblebees. You said the Ramblin' Wreck win this game at Colorado. All right, Saturday.
Sorry, yeah.
We'll start with we'll just start with the big one, Texas. You want to save that for later?
We save that for last.
Okay, let's go Syracuse and Tennessee. And I told you a little earlier, this game's in Atlanta. I really like Syracuse. I'm going to take Syracuse to win this game. I think they beat Tennessee. I think they're good enough to beat Tennessee, and I think there's a lot of questions the Vols have coming in.
I'm actually going to agree with you. I think I've been hearing a lot of negative things about Tennessee. Too many question marks. Yeah, they got a transfer quarterback in, but, are they gelling? Syracuse was coming off a really good year last year.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Orange.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, that game isn't actually in Knoxville. It's in Atlanta.
Right.
So, I mean, there'll be a lot of Tennessee fans there probably. It's going to be a lot of orange in the stadium no matter what. But I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I think it's going to be a good amount of points. Next up, I'll let you take this one first. Alabama at FSU. Do we really need to talk about this one very long? I mean, honestly.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, right. So you're taking FSU.
No.
That's all you need to say, right? Roll Tide. Yeah, we talked about this game earlier too. I think Kalen DeBoer has a lot to prove. Alabama's a lot to prove. They lost 4 games last year, which you can't do that in Tuscaloosa. And FSU was 2-10. 2-10 last year. Remember that. How much better are they going to be this year? What are they going to have that's different? And it's a Tallahassee, but I don't really think Coach Campbell is that intimidating a place to play. I think Alabama will win big.
Okay. All right. We both.
I know we would agree on that one. Okay. Saturday night, LSU at Clemson. Tigers and Tigers. Death Valley and Death Valley.
I've been talking about LSU, so I'm riding with the real Tigers of LSU.
The real Tigers, the real Death Valley.
The
So
real
you
Death
like
Valley.
LSU, you like the Nussmeyers to win that game. Not so fast, my friend. Welcome to Clemson. Again, this place is going to be ready to go.
Boo!
And I'm not as big sold on LSU as you are. I'm just not sold on Brian Kelly, honestly, too. But Clemson, again, Saturday night in Clemson, Dabo's going to run down the hill and Howard's Rock with the team. They'll be ready to go. So I'm going to go with Clemson Tigers to beat the LSU Tigers at home on Saturday.
All right, that's our second difference in the pick so far.
That's right. On Sunday, again, we have Virginia Tech and South Carolina. Again, that game is also in Atlanta Sunday afternoon at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I don't see this being much of a game, honestly. I think South Carolina is going to win this one pretty big. I think they're good. They're ranked 13th preseason. Lenore Sellers is first-team all-conference quarterback. Virginia Tech has struggled since Frank Beamer left, and now Shane Beamer has got South Carolina going up. It seems like I'll take the Gamecocks to win that game.
I can't disagree with you there. I think South Carolina has all that momentum coming from last year. They nearly made the playoffs. They were one of the first teams to miss the playoffs last year, behind Alabama and Miami. I think.
Yeah, they were on a 4. They beat Clemson at the end of the year. They beat Texas A&M. They were really on a roll there at the end of the season. So, yeah.
So I'm picking South Carolina to win this game too.
Going with the Fighting Shane Beamers of South Carolina to win that game. Sunday night, Notre Dame at Miami. Catholics versus convicts again. Go ahead.
Brand new quarterback, Carson Beck. I mean, he's played in these big games before, but Miami does not have a true home field advantage.
No,
this is not like the 80s and 90s where they won like 50 in a row or something like that.
There's going to be a lot of Notre Dame fans at this game. And I expect that when Florida goes down there in a few weeks. It's going to be a Florida home crowd, basically, in South Florida.
I'm going to pick Notre Dame in this game.
Again, growing up and with my family, with my father, Georgia Tech and all, we didn't like Notre Dame very much. He never liked Notre Dame.
I grew up hating Miami as much as I hate Florida State.
That's the thing. I grew up hating Miami more because of the Florida, the Gators and everything. But right now, I just like Miami more. And I honestly think Notre Dame is good, really good. I mean, they nearly won a national title last year. I think Marcus Freeman's a really good coach. They win games now, big games, which they didn't under Brian Kelly. I think Notre Dame's going to win this game as well. Carson Beck's played in big games, but he never really has played well in big games with Georgia. So I'll take the Irish as well to win that game on the road. Monday night, TCU North Carolina. No idea on this one.
I'm giving you the first dibs on this one.
Honestly, I don't know what North Carolina is going to have with Bill Belichick coming in. Remember TCU played for the national title, 3 years ago, and they've been kind of down since. This is in Chapel Hill. Yeah, I'll take the Belichick effect, and at home I'll take the Tar Heels to win this opener.
Not so fast. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, really? Boy, you said that one up well.
Well, like you said, my last memory of TCU is them getting embarrassed by Georgia.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, that was like what a running clock would have been.
65-7.
If we would have had a running clock, that's what it would be.
That was a national championship game, too.
And I don't know what TCU has done. I think they've been down the last couple of years.
Yeah, they have. They really haven't been. I think they've been around 500, really.
So I'm going with the Tar Heels in this game.
Yeah, I think. I think at home that's part of it. I don't think TCU. They did go to a bowl game last year, the New Mexico Bowl, and they won that game 34-3 over Louisiana. But I think they were like 7-6. So yeah, they've been really since that national championship run. But Belichick effect. That's what we'll see this time, and we'll take North Carolina in that one.
Okay, so let's backtrack.
Okay, so let's backtrack to the big game of the weekend, and Actually, TCU was 9-4 last year.
Hmm,
They were
okay.
9-4.
Sonny Dykes
And
now.
Sonny Dykes
Coach,
now
and they-
still the head coach,
still.
and they won their bowl game. But still,
They play in the Big
and
12.
they play in the Big 12. So
TCU definitely see
TCU
TCU winning.
definitely see TCU winning that game. But
Tar Heels.
we'll take
All
the
right.
Tar Heels.
All
right.
Finally, as we said, number 1 Texas, number 3
finally,
Ohio
as we
State.
said, number 1 Texas,
We're
number
in
3 Ohio State.
Noon
We are in
on
Columbus, Ohio for this
Saturday.
game. Noon on Saturday
Fox.
on
What you like
Fox.
here?
What you like here?
Well, and also game day is going to be there. Fox Nation or whatever it's called.
Big noon.
Big noon kickoff.
Saturday.
We'll be
Yeah,
there.
kickoff is there. Yeah, both pregame
Who
shows will
does
be there.
Lee
Fox
Corso
News.
pick as his last
I
ever?
wish we had headgear.
I wish we had headgear we could put on for this game, like the Brutus the Buckeye thing or the Longhorn. Yeah, I don't know, but
I got a feeling he's going to pick Ohio State because they're playing at home, and
I agree.
I agree.
but I don't like them.
I don't either.
Ohio State's bringing in a new quarterback, and I know they're playing at home, but you're talking close to 100,000 people playing that game, and with a brand new quarterback, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
And Texas got Archie Manning, and Manning played a little bit last year as a backup.
Not in this scenario, though. Not in this big of a game and this big of a
No,
atmosphere. Right.
but he did play a little bit. I
think everybody thinks he's really considered the Heisman favorite. I think everybody thinks it's the Manning family thing here. Like he's going to have what all the Mannings have. Go ahead.
hook him with the win.
Well, I picked Texas to play for the national title too. So yeah, I guess you kind of know where I'm going with that, like you did with LSU. I think Texas is going to play for the title this year. I think I had Texas and Penn State, but I think you wrote that down somewhere. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Ohio State's at home. The crowd's going to be nuts, but Ohio State's got a lot of guys to replace from that national championship team, including their quarterback. You're going to have a new quarterback in his first game against a really tough Texas team, which is probably the most talented team in the country. So I say hook 'em as well. Give me the Longhorns, and we agree on that one. Actually, yeah, Texas I think wins that game at Ohio State.
Just to go back, you did pick Penn State and Texas to play in the championship game. So did I.
LSU and Penn State.
No, I said Penn State, Texas, because LSU is going to beat Texas in the championship game, the conference.
But
and then
Texas
because the wild card, Texas will still get a wild card if they don't win the Big 12 or Big SEC.
We both picked Penn State and Texas, huh? Okay.
Yeah, we did. And you picked Clemson over SMU in the ACC, Texas over Bama in the SEC. I picked SMU in Louisville, LSU in Texas, and we both picked Penn State over Texas.
Okay. Well, hey, we both agreed on that, huh? That's interesting. Well, anyway, we'll see. We'll start this week. Texas.
So we have, of the 12 games, I think we have 3 that are different. East Carolina, NC State.
LSU, Clemson.
LSU, Clemson. Notre Dame, Miami.
No, I thought you took Notre Dame.
I did. You took Miami.
I took Notre Dame. No, I took Notre Dame.
Oh, you said Miami.
I said the Irish.
Oh.
I'm not taking Miami. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
both took
2.
Syracuse, didn't we? Yeah, we both took Syracuse.
Yeah, we had 2 games difference.
Okay.
Yeah, because we both picked Texas. So yeah.
We picked Texas, both picked Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I have LSU. I have Clemson. You have LSU. I have NC State. You have East Carolina. Okay. Well, there you go. Well, next Wednesday we'll take a look back and see how we did on those picks. And if half those are wrong, it's week 1. What do we know?
And I'll say it was all your fault.
Yeah, you can blame me. I don't care. It's early in the year. But I'm just you said this last week, Corey. I'm just happy to be watching college football this weekend. Like these games. We've been talking about it, seems like, for months. So they're here finally. And again, next Wednesday, we'll be back here at Beef Brady's and Stark, 9 to 10 o'clock, to give you another edition of the North Florida College Football Gridiron Show here on North Florida Sports Talk. And we look forward to going over the results next week, and then we'll look ahead to week 2 in college football. Not as great a week, so we'll probably spend most of our time looking back at week 1, but we'll preview next week's games as well. And a reminder, you can check out the high school football Gridiron Report 8 to 9 o'clock as well each Wednesday night. All right, again, I want to thank you for Brady's here at start for allowing us to use this nice party room in the back here. We'll probably be back here next Wednesday night as well. And again, everyone enjoy football coming up this weekend. High school, college, whatever you're watching, should be again Thursday through Monday, right? College football. So it's gonna going, and we look forward to talking about it
Here as the season goes on.
season goes on.
Corey Davis, I'm Marty.
Corey
Pallman.
Davis, I'm Marty
So
Pallman.
long. We'll talk
So
to you
long.
next
We'll
week.
talk to you next week. Enjoy the games.
Go Yankees.
No, do not go Yankees.
not go Yankees.
Trying to slip that in there.